So this is our first day on the trip. Driving up, this is a picture of a future camper. 1970s or 80s, something like that. Dad, would you go in that one?
Sure. Yeah, I would love to have a camper like that.
And then we get to Huckleberry's hostel, and this is inside a old slave cabin there, and all these things. Huckleberry was the owner of the hostel, and these are all about his adventures on the Appalachian Trail. What do you remember?
It's in the middle of the hostel, and the lights are left on 24/7. So you can go in there and look around.
As we were looking around, that night we had an experience with 14 other people from a church group, and they were doing some day tripping, so hung out around the campfire that night. What do you remember about the campfire?
It was people from all walks of life just sitting around, enjoying each other's company, which is common when you come to backpacking or hostels like that. You just end up sitting around learning about people, and then you go away.
We stayed in tents that night because
Yeah.
we didn't have a place in the bunkhouse, but that worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
And that was day one. Okay, this is day two. So we went back to where we started, Rocky Gap, and that was a big climb coming out of there. Going to Sarver Hollow. How was that climbing the first time? Getting back into it.
It was a long, steep hill starting out the first of the hike.
And we reached this outcrop area. Some people were having lunch. Cool tree. I like all the designs. Things that just make me wonder about stuff. How old it is, what it goes through. All the stones and how they were breaking apart, fitting together. Made me wonder about how they got there and how long it took, and a lot of neat thoughts. We got to this field. Do you like hiking in fields or on rocks?
I do. I like hiking in fields. You can see so far ahead in front of you.
I like all the wildflowers too. I was consumed by all the insects, and then we started seeing all these monarch butterflies because we had been hatching them at school. So I tried to figure out how to get pictures of them, and they kept flying, but it was amazing to see them in this big field as we walked. And the colors too. I mean, there was sparse trees and different colors of grass.
I like the way you find things that I don't see. So that's why I took that picture, is because I really wanted a memory of how you can find things that I would have never even thought about looking at.
The details are everywhere. There's a reminder of the trip just on how small parts come together for something amazing. I mean, monarchs, what they're doing right here is about to migrate in mass from Florida and from Texas all the way to Canada on a journey.
So those are monarch butterflies.
Monarch butterfly. I was wrong on that. Canada to Texas and Florida, so they go south. But they would have just hatched, and they're going to fly. They can even fly south, die, produce offspring, die, and then the next generation keeps going. Right in this space. Seeing it all come together. And you saw that barn down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the barn.
Yeah.
Never know what you're coming into. Oh, that was a big climb on the other side. I think I see it on the other side of the barn. That was a big hill. And occasionally you come off stuff like this. It looks like somebody forgot all their Cokes and Sprites, but what do people call this stuff?
Trail angel.
Trail angels.
Yeah, they leave that. A lot of time it's food, water, just on the side of the trail.
Oh, and this was when we got to the largest oak east of the Mississippi and south of another one in New York. This was 18 feet in diameter, and the other one in New York was 21. It's the Keffer Oak.
Keffer Oak.
I tried to give it a hug, but
Yeah, I told you couldn't do it, but you tried anyway.
why not?
Yeah.
Tried to hold it up too, but
Yeah.
it looked like it was doing
And
fine.
then it fell over that after you walked away.
That was close. Yeah, this was right before it fell over.
Yeah.
I think it's over 300 years old.
It's older than the United States.
I wonder who planted it. What were they thinking?
It's probably going to be there when we walk by.
Yes. This was, of all the different types of trail association, all the things that have to happen to make a trail walkable. So they used the stones around to make the trail passable, and that was pretty amazing, the kind of work that went into that. This was interesting. This was pre-European. So indigenous peoples, these were dated to 500 AD, did some reading on it. These are cairns, like C-A-I-R-N-S. Native Americans would make them. So this one slopes to the right because it has a facial feature as if it was bending over, like symbolizing a mask. So they're representing sometimes different animals or honoring different peoples in that area. In this space, there was over 200 of these spread along this place called Bruiser's Knob.
There was a lot of those. We saw a lot of them.
And sometimes they're property markers, but
Yeah.
these were not.
Yeah.
And then we came to Sarver Hollow, and before that we met these people on the trail that said, "You will not believe the timber rattlesnake next to the water." And it was still there. So this was quite unique. We got to see it take its own path. I think we counted 10 rattles.
Yeah.
That was a lot. And then it just went away into the woods area. I love watching the patterns on it. Seeing how it moved. It blended in so well. I mean, I wonder how many we walked by and didn't even know it was there. And then Sarver Hollow, there's some stories with that. So supposedly it was a homestead, a family, the Sarver family in the Civil War, had made this space their home, and they stayed there for 70 years until around the Great Depression era. And they had some kids that were young, and they died early, and supposedly the area is haunted. Some hikers speak of this. But at the same time, there's these cairns from 500 AD in that area right around their house. I wonder if they knew that.
Didn't you say the the father, the elder Sarver, was killed at Pickett's charge during the Civil War?
It was, one of the relatives that helped build this home was killed in Gettysburg on Pickett's charge.
Look at the rock work on that chimney. It's amazing.
Still there. And then we get to the idea that we have to get water. This is an example of what it looks like for this setup. So this is gravity fed, goes through the filter, and this was actually a pretty good water source. No, this was not. This was, we had to get it from like cups. One small cup at a time.
Yeah.
filling that up.
So what's in the bag above it? Dirty
So,
water, right?
Dirty water through the filter, gravity fed to clean water that you can drink at the bottom.
Yep.
And we're trusting that filter is going to do its job.
No faucet.
All inside the shelter. We were the only ones there.
That was a good shelter.
Except for when night came.
Oh yeah.
How did you handle nighttime?
Well, there were, as I should have known, a lot of mice. M-I-C-E, mice. So about midnight, I couldn't handle it anymore. They were running all over the place. I could hear them on the tin roofs. So I got up and set my tent up inside the shelter and got in my tent and zipped it up so the mice could not get me.
And they didn't.
They didn't. They didn't bother me anymore.
That's good.
But they ate my sleeping pad.
At least they didn't eat you.
Yeah.
And no rattlesnakes in the shelter either.
Yep.
Okay. I believe that concludes day 2. Okay, we made it to day 3, so we get up. Still no rain. I mean, it was dry the whole time, and this was on the ridge. What do you remember about walking on the ridges?
Rocks.
Uneven sort of.
It's very
terrain.
difficult, slow walking, a lot of rocks. Down on the ridges too.
This was on a ridge too. This was the snake root that is there, all the white flowers. But it was everywhere. Here's an example of what it looks like when you're walking through it. Just kind of dividing. Sometimes you can't see the trail.
I'm glad you took that video because a lot of people don't realize many times you can't see the trail until you move the brush out of the way. And it can get difficult sometimes to really see where the trail is. Keep looking for the white mark on the tree.
And then we hit this area. It was supposedly the whole like geology of the space, like all the rock formation. It wasn't just like small rocks, but just huge expanses of exposed granite and limestone, slate, shale. So we're going on this off-camber type of area.
But that's the Appalachian Trail on the rock.
Yeah, there is no alternative. You go on the rock.
Yeah.
And it's all between these huge valleys. So just the age of the Appalachian Mountains is amazing. This shows like the change that's going on in that space. Just the different kinds of rock formations, and just made me wonder what caused that. What is continuing to cause that? Reminds me of an elephant.
No, it's not. It's a face. It's a human being.
Like an offset kind of smile.
Can
And
see the night. Yeah. I mean,
So-
I can see how it could be an elephant.
yeah, it's like an elephant with no trunk.
Okay.
Which I don't know how that would be an elephant. Maybe it is. Yeah. And all the exposed trees, nothing's straight. Everything's been molded by the environment. That tree shows how extreme things can grow and be in that space. Growing in the crack in the rock. And a lot of times that forms rocks too. Plants can. And then we have now crossed over
Continental Divide.
Eastern Continental Divide.
Eastern. Okay.
So this is 2 hour to the Atlantic coast. It's 405 miles, and Mexico, Gulf of Mexico, 1,920.
It's the Gulf of America. It's not the Gulf of Mexico.
They need to work on that sign. Here's an example of what's on the trail. The shale just breaking off, and the layers and layers and layers going horizontal. And that fills the trail up. So sometimes it'll be this white color, and then sometimes purple and brown and sand and leaves. And all that's right under the surface. Things are just growing on it the whole time. And then we've reached this amazing destination of a decorated...
He's the most decorated war hero in World War II.
These are all different relics people have left there. That's incredible. And we did make it to camp, cooking dinner. This was a long day. That was the longest day, I think.
Yeah.
Here's an example of all the stuff that you need for dinner.
So we got to camp, and it was, by the time we set it up, it was getting dark, and we were cooking in the dark.
Mm-hmm. And this was one night we were not at a shelter. It was just a campsite.
Yep.
I slept pretty good that night. That was one of the better nights I remember sleeping. Mm-hmm. And that concludes our second day of hiking, our third day of the trip. We've made it to the third day of camping or hiking, and the rain chances are going up. Why do you enjoy using an umbrella?
Why do I enjoy using an umbrella?
Compared to a rain jacket.
I don't enjoy using either one of them. But the advantages of an umbrella is it's not as hot, and you don't have to put a rain jacket on. And most of the time, it'll do what you need it to do. It'll cover you and your pack. So if your pack has a rain cover on it, then the water runs off the umbrella down the rain cover, and the pack doesn't get wet, and you don't get wet until the wind starts blowing, and then you can't hold the umbrella. So it just depends, but the umbrella is preferable because you don't have that hot rain jacket on.
I agree. And we didn't use it for long because it stopped raining, and then we put it up and basically carried it the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Which was nice. Oh, and then we see these walls. So there's these cairns we saw near the Sarver Hollow area, and then these walls pop up close by. Come to find out, they're connected. So this is a representation, we feel, because we did some research from the Roanoke History Area Museum, and it might represent a snake. So a rock pile of snakes. So it's an anamorphism, a representation of pre-European people groups that would make elements out of natural resource. And this represents a snake, a powerful figure, kind of like as we saw in the timber rattlesnake. And there's another example of one. We thought it was a wall to keep out the razorback pigs that would roam the area. People would have those, but it stopped, like it was short. It seems like that's a better reason for this to be there. And this was going to a shelter. And then as well, one of the cairn representations might be, this is a big dip, just this huge orifice in the earth where it could be a cave opening. So one researcher suggested that the cairns might represent stalactites, as if they were hanging from a cave, because you can't build something hanging from the ground. They built the cairns as representations of stalactites, which would be hanging from the ceiling of a cave. All kind of things just making us wonder. So did we actually hike 1,500 miles?
1,500 is how many miles we have left from this point.
We're getting there.
To the end.
We did meet some people, though, that were hiking, that had hiked this far, and they were hiking south. They flip-flopped.
You want to explain what flip-flop means?
Yeah. So they might start in Katahdin and hike to, say, Harper's Ferry, which is the distance-based halfway point. And then they might start in Georgia and hike to Harper's Ferry, or start in Harper's Ferry and hike to Maine, and then come back to Harper's Ferry and hike south, or different ways they do it. They basically split the trail into halves, so they'll beat the winter, because it's all about the seasons.
Yeah, you don't want to be hiking when it's really cold. You can get really miserable.
In Baxter State Park, they actually don't give you permits after October. And this was a big
That's
pile
where
of rocks.
Katahdin is.
Yeah, the end.
The end. So if you get there after October, they won't let you in.
Come back the next year.
Yeah. That's why they flip-flop.
Mm-hmm.
You hike the end, then they can't tell you can't go in.
Then you'll hike south.
Yeah.
And then you're playing winter.
Yep.
Hopefully, depending on what it's going to be like.
Flip-flopping.
There's this big pile of rocks. I don't know, as we learned about these cairns, I'm not so sure if this big pile of rocks is for 1,500 miles or if it's something completely different and somebody just put 1,500 miles there.
It's probably prehistoric. Somebody put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Then they made the trail through there so it would match the 1,500.
Yeah, because it was actually made at the end of World War I, but officially 1948, I think, it was open. So it's been around. So ascending from this point, this is going up to our first big three. So this is called the Triple Crown. There's the Dragon's Tooth, there's McAfee Knob, and then there's Tinker Cliffs. This is the climb to Dragon's Tooth. What were you thinking it was going to be like?
Just like this, it was very steep.
That was probably the longest climb we had.
It was very long.
This was like the most strenuous hike, I think, of the day or of the week. I remember.
Well, coming down was too. I mean, you're just going down on rocks.
Yeah, and there's all kind of like little lookout points where you can find to see the valley. It's kind of like playing with your mind, like, oh, I'm there. No.
The view is beautiful. I mean, it's
Hawk feather. And then we did make it to, this is monumental, 700 miles.
Yep.
That's kind of hard to think, because where we're actually making this narrative at Woods Hole Hostel is about the 600 mile mark. So we're now like 100 miles ahead of where we're sitting at this moment. It's kind of a neat thought.
So we're at two places at the same time.
At the same time.
Okay.
Yep. And 700 is made out of acorns, which were everywhere and were like marbles. Rock formations just make you wonder, how did that get placed there? Something to make you wonder.
There's a lot of wonder why this, how did that happen?
And hiking through it, I mean, it's not like you got a path through the woods. You're going over, you're going beside, you're going between.
Yeah, that is the Appalachian Trail.
You're stepping up, you're stepping down.
Over, under, around, and through.
And there's drop-offs. I mean, you're having to like climb over things. Like, you can't just step over it. And you do it a lot, all day long. So we're reaching the top. This is sort of like Dragon's Tooth, but in a much smaller way. But the coloration, all the reds and the pinks and limestone and the granite all mixed together. And a view from one of those lookouts, so you can see the distance we've come and what we can see. And we pretty much came from the valley. It is neat to look south sometimes and think, wow, we're not going there, we've come from there. And we made it. So those dots, those white marks where it looks like it falls off the side of the mountain, it's kind of what it does at Dragon's Tooth. And highly impacted area. We didn't see anybody. We were there at the right time, I guess. Did you expect it to be that large?
No, it was beyond my wildest imagination. I'm glad I did it. It was well worth the hike. Don't think I'll go back. I better not say that.
It was a place that I could see like spending like each one of these spots like this would be a good time to spend like a half a day at, just walking around, exploring. It's hard to really grasp how big it really is though. And it's a whole network, and it's a wall of uplift right on the edge of this mountain. I was thinking, boy, wouldn't this be cool in the fall or in the winter where you didn't have leaves to keep your vision from seeing what was there. I climbed to the top of it as much as, not the outside, it was not dangerous. It was more of a flat spot, but that's the front side of it. So I'm looking kind of around the corner. Between the two large rock structures, and everything is almost vertical, like just turned. It should be sitting on top of each other like sandwiched, but it's sandwiched in a vertical sense.
I'm glad you climbed up there. I didn't, but you got some great pictures.
And then we came down, and the topography was dropping 1,000 feet in like half a mile, which was incredible. So a lot of scrambling, sliding, balancing.
Look at your feet, you're climbing a ladder.
Yep. So that was iron in the rock.
Are you going down a ladder?
Down a ladder, so maybe 10 feet, 12 feet. Kind of leaning into the slab of rock too.
Yeah, it took a long time to go down those rocks.
That doesn't look that. It doesn't look like it took you that long. That's fast.
I had on my special shoes that day.
Oh wow, it's a lot faster than I went down.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I'm older.
Going between the rocks. Yeah, that's the trail, dropping off.
That was very steep too.
One small step.
That's the trail right there.
Yep. Fall off the edge of that, you'll stay there a while.
You might be part of the trail.
Yep. That's what they call trail magic. I wonder how many people have become part of the trail and they're still down there.
Yeah. Not me, not that day.
It was kind of like that most of the way down.
Yep.
Oh, and then we had a surprise. Four Pines Hostel.
Love that place.
This was not something we planned. This was the next morning. However, we saw this still the night before.
We were going to camp out on the side of the road, and then we heard about this, and we thought, let's give it a try. And it was a great, great place to hang out.
You can pick your bunk.
Yep.
It's a lot of bunks. It was pretty full that day. A couple of couches. Thousands of people have sat on. I slept on a couch that night.
You didn't want to be a bunkie?
I didn't want to stay on the top. There's a bunch of like dried bugs and exoskeletons everywhere.
Yeah.
I actually slept on two couches. The firmer couch was better. We did get there, and the hostel owner made this fabulous meal of chicken and dumplings and salad and fruit and cookies, and that was a very welcome.
We ate so much food.
Yep. It's a 3-car garage. I mean, everything is in there. Showers, bathroom, kitchen, sleeping quarters. And that concluded that day of hiking. Let's see what's on tap for the next adventure. Our journey continued, as this was the day we were going to see McAfee Knob. And building up to that point, a lot of pastures and fields, and it was neat to see how many people took care of their land. I was amazed by that, just generations.
Speaking of trail, that is the trail.
That dot is you.
Yeah, it's me, Dot.
I'd like to come back when it snows and sled down that hill. I just wonder how I would stop. More tinges and hints of fall. Red maples. And a lot of times you'll see something like this. Inside this box is a journal. And you keep up with where people are at by when they signed in. So if you know you're hiking with people, 2 days ago somebody did this, or hiked there, or they're here now. And you can leave notes. So this is in a box that is waterproof. We signed it. And what is your trail name?
Trucks.
Trucks.
Your name is Rooster.
Rooster.
The main thing is that our name is in the book.
In the book. And nobody calls you by your real name on the trail. It's always your trail name.
I don't understand it, but that's why they do it.
Like if you say your real name, they say, no, really, what is your trail name?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So now we've made it to the approach trail to McAfee Knob. And this is the most visited place on the Appalachian Trail. So they've done a lot of upgrades to make this wear friendly.
Speaking of up,
That was a lot of up to that trail as well.
yeah.
And you started to see the exposure of that. This is how they've kept the trail. It could have been that whole off-camber thing like we had hiked before, but there's more people here, so they built it up and they put like gravel inside these wooden barriers. So we're getting near the top now. This is the first time, Dad, you've been to McAfee Knob. What are you thinking going up this hill right here?
It was a very emotional day. I thought about McAfee Knob a long time. It's the one place on the Appalachian Trail that you hear about no matter where you go. It is the most photogenic. People have taken pictures there more than anywhere else on the entire Appalachian Trail. It's like heaven on earth for the Appalachian Trail. And so McAfee Knob is where we finally got to.
A lot of people take pictures at this exact spot.
Yeah, you look in books, movies, anything about the Appalachian Trail, this is on it because it is such an indescribable, beautiful location.
That was monumental.
Yeah.
So here we are, together on McAfee Knob.
Mile 715.
7:15. Yep.
715. So we've been hiking this thing for a number of years, and we finally made it 715 miles.
That's what it looks like when you look out from it, because that's a lot of people take pictures, I guess, from that spot, but then looking out. But that's an amazing sight to the valley. So we are constantly making our way through these stone. This is on the opposite side. These stone. Looks like, reminds me of a village. Just all these little crevasses that you can make your way through and see. Then we get to our shelter that night, and you think, where does your water come from? Well, that's the water. So this was a puddle that I had to dam up with mud, and this pipe was sitting there, and then that's the only place you get it. We're not drinking this, we're going to filter it, and we take that back to the shelter. But that's just to give you an idea about.
And the shelter before this one, Jeff got water out from under a rock with a syringe so we could have water.
So here we are at our last camp, and we are using the shelter as our stay-in kind of hotel situation. Here's a quick tour. So we've unloaded all our gear. We're filtering water. So this came from the creek you just saw. We have 2 liters. And so we set it up inside the shelter, keep anything out that we don't want inside. Nice cozy spot. And you can see our view out from there. And we're about to cook some dinner. So here's the view from the front porch. Here's a little bit about the food. So we keep it in a container like this. It has a big top on to keep anything out from it. And inside, a lot of times the food's divided by days. So here's our day 4, and things are dehydrated. And in here, I've put dinner. So it's been rehydrating without a stove. We can also use a stove, and then we have a extra long spoon to go with it. And of course, water. And that's how we put it all together when we're not using a stove. We'll see the stove in a minute. So when we use our devices, this is an example of the charging station. So that battery block will last about 4 charges on the phone, and then you got the watch. And I've got something similar. So everything technology related is usually just kept in a bag and something that could be good to keep water out. Notebook, light, use a device to inflate the mattress, extra odds and ends, and then another battery pack, all kept in there. So that's usually how we keep up with the charging, unless there's a hostel we stop at and recharge the chargers and then charge everything that way. Here's a typical cooking setup. So this is butane, a small titanium pot, a cup with a spoon, and Dad's putting on the stove piece. So that'll light up and burn, or not burn, but boil water in about 4 minutes. Here's 2 examples of stoves burning. That's the whole kitchen. We're just heating water up. Dad's is over there. Dad, what's for dinner tonight?
Beef stroganoff.
Wow, that looks amazing. We'll see how it turns out in a little bit.
You need to see the
Oh yeah. And that's a different sort of top. So stoves can be made differently. That's what the bottom of this one looks like. So the butane burns like it would be on a gas stove at home. And that concludes our day seeing McAfee Knob. We've made it to the last day. It rained last night, and this morning fog was everywhere. It's supposed to be raining now.
It rained about 9 hours straight off and on, but we're in the shelter, thank goodness.
Fog makes you see close, kind of maybe in life how we're always looking for what's next, what's out there, instead of what's closer by, and appreciate it so much more. So it made me pay attention to the sounds and the smells and the sights of things that were right around us. I like the cycles of life too. Tree, now dead, but how much life is it giving now that it's passed? Just an appreciation for every little process going on. Like this, one rock, moss, fern, lichen, seemingly barren space, so full of potential. This was cool. It's supposed to be raining now too, or it was just finished. We're not to Tinkered Cliffs yet. I'm trying to move the camera as fast as the fog is moving. See, this kind of matches the wind, kind of like this. It's sped up, but it just started to peek through, and just standing there, we started to see everything clear away. Very similar types of hiking, moving through the rocks, seeing the different types of spaces to fit in, to explore.
So the trail goes right through all of that.
And we're still on this ridge, but we're almost to the point where we're about to climb a long way again.
Long way.
More hints of fall. It's a reservoir in the distance.
I took that.
It's neat to
Oh,
look
you
at.
took one too.
Oh no, I think these are both of.
Oh, those
of
both
these.
mine. Oh.
But it's neat to look at a map and then look at a picture and go, I saw that from the top in digital form, and here it is in pictorial form, like I'm seeing the map.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, okay.
So that purple trail is called Andy Lane. That's our approach trail. We get to either hike down or hike back up somehow when we go again. That little arrow down there, the white circle with the green arrow, that's where we're at. We're about to go to the camera spot, so we're about to climb up a big hill. And we get to the top, and this is what it looks like again, so more rock outcrops.
And this is going to be Tinker Cliffs.
Yes.
The other part of the Triple Crown.
That rock's pretty amazing, just teetering on that one small edge. I wonder if anybody could hold it up.
Probably you.
Nobody's there yet. I wonder what'll happen.
It's in your camera. I'll tickle your camera.
It's coming, I believe. So this is the first view of Tinker Cliffs. It's a 1/4 mile of exposed cliffs. And you can see McAfee Knob from it, but the valley just opens up. And that was a couple hours ago, just full of clouds.
We had such amazing weather.
And as you're walking, if you've ever wondered, what's it like to walk on these areas where you could
Yeah.
see down for a long way? And
The trail's running right beside the rock.
yeah, that's the trail.
Yeah.
Sometimes
If you fall,
you just become part of the trail.
you might not be walking very much.
But that whole side of this ridge was exposed that way. Now, a lot of times you're just figuring out what's the best place to step. There's nowhere that says step here or do this or that. And you get right up to the edge, there it is again. All these people working down in the valley. And a constant breeze too. This is the geologic indicator. Yes, we were on Tinker Cliffs. This was kind of cool. It looks like I could pull the rock up, but I did
Oh, yeah.
try to hold up the rock.
Yeah, I told you that a rock was going to fall, but you said, no, I can hold it.
The camera is connected to the tree.
We have a tripod.
That worked pretty good. Just controlled it with your watch.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Tripod pictures.
And then
Here we go.
going down.
Andy's Lane. Oh, we hadn't got there yet.
Dead log, moss, and mushrooms. From death to life. Regeneration is everywhere. This was, I think, the largest muscadine vine I've ever seen. A lot of stairs too. And these were all, this was private land. These were all made out of cedar. So that was a long down, long up. But the only way to get to a road. And going back to that Sarver Hollow place again, this is what it looked like in the 1930s before there were those chimneys there.
That's the way it looked like before the house was gone and left the chimneys. Where we were camping, the chimneys were there, but the house was not.
Yes, and all the trees were grown up around it, so there was not a field there.
Yeah.
This concludes our overview of our backpacking trip in the fall of 2025.
Great trip.
Yes. Signing off, Trucks and Rooster.